Model Set 5, page 25. 1. The powerful tales Heart of Darkness and The End of the Tether, which give the description of sea, appear in B. Typhoon and Other Stories, 1903. 2. Conrad's Nostromo, A Tale of the Seaboard, 1904, portrays the scenes of sea America. 3. Conrad's The Mirror of the Sea, Memoirs and Impressions, 1906, was in series of A. Essays. 4. In which novel Conrad deals with detective story? B. The Secret Agent, A Simple Tale, 1907. 5. Which of the following novel remains incomplete? D. Suspense, a Napoleonic novel, 1925. 6. What was the name of the girl whom Kalidas loved? C. Kamini. 7. Kidnapped was written by D. R.L. Stevenson. 8. Mr. Collins is a character in B. Pride and Prejudice. 9. Who coined the phrase, quote, Marlowe's mighty line, unquote? B. Ben Jonson. 10. The name of Shakespeare's birthplace is A. Stratford-upon-Avon. 11. Who affirmed that Shakespeare knew, quote, small Latin and Greek, unquote? C. Ben Jonson. 12. Identify the title of a collection of verse which appeared in 1599 with Shakespeare's name, the title page B. The Passionate Pilgrim. 13. The first folio edition of Shakespeare's plays was printed in B. 1623. 14. Shakespeare dedicated his sonnets to a certain Mr. W. H. as being, quote, the only begetter, unquote, of the sonnets. Who was he? C. William Harbord, the Earl of Pembroke. 15. Shakespeare addressed the second group of his sonnets to the dark lady who may be D. Mary Fitton. 16. Rhetoric is A. The art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing. Page 26. 17. Prosody means C. The study of versification, especially of metrical structure. 18. Who among the following cannot be termed one of the four wheels of English novel in the 18th century? A. Jane Austen. 19. Who is the writer of, quote, The Blessed Demoiselle, unquote? C. D. G. Rossetti. 20. Which is the correct chronological order? A. Utopia, Dr. Faustus, Areopagitica, Maud. 21. Disraeli was influenced by B. Burke. 22. Dickens died in A. 1870. 23. Who is not a novelist besides being a poet? A. Jayant Mahapatra. 24. The favorite poet of Jawaharlal Nehru was B. Frost. 25. Who wrote, quote, The Battle of Books, unquote? C. Swift. 26. Queen Anne's accession took place in B. 1702. 27. The Duchess of Malfi was published in D. 1623. 28. The scene of Beowulf is laid in D. None of these, meaning England, France, Spain, none of these. 29. Pap is a character in B. Huckleberry Finn. 30. A Mad Tea Party takes place in D. Alice in Wonderland. 31. Which of the following poem deals with seaman? A. Enoch Arden. 32. The familiar Robin Hood's theme deals with C. The Foresters, 1892. 33. Which of the following quarterly, founded in 1802 and patronized by the Whig Party, maliciously attacked Wordsworth, Coleridge, and other Lake poets? A. The Blackwood Magazine. 34. Which of the following is the first poem of Wordsworth? C. Descriptive Sketches. 35. Who other than Wordsworth composed lyrical ballads? B. D. S.T. Coleridge, page 27. 36. Which of the following poem does not appear in lyrical ballad? C. Ode on the Intimations of Immortality. 37. Who wrote Preface of Lyrical Ballads? A. Wordsworth. 38. Which of the following poem appeared later in lyrical ballads? D. Michael. 39. Wordsworth composed 19 poems for lyrical ballads. How many poems were contributed by Coleridge? B. 4. 40. Who among the following is not a pre-romantic poet? D. Byron. 41. Who said that W. H. Auden was, quote, the most accomplished technician now writing poetry in English, unquote? C. Stephen Spender. 42. Which of the following works is not by Cecil Day Lewis? A. City Without Walls. 43. Who among the following poets was the pioneer of neo-romanticism in poetry? B. Dylan Thomas. 44. Which of the following poems is not written by Robert Lowell? C. Good Morning. 45. Which of the following poems is written by Wallace Stevens? B. Sunday Morning. 46. In which poem do the following lines appear? Quote, stone walls do not a prison make, comma, nor iron bars a cage, unquote, stop. B. To Althea from prison. 47. Who organized, quote, the Four Musketeers of the Oxford movement, unquote? B. Michael Roberts. 48. Identify the correct group of poets known as the Oxford poets. A. W. H. Auden, Stephen Spender, Cecil Day Lewis, Louis MacNeice. 49. Which of the following arrangements of W. H. Auden's poems is in the correct chronological order? A. Poems, The Orators, The Dance of Death, The Shield of Achilles, City Without Walls, Epistle to a Godson, Thank You, Fog. 50. The Steel Center is a collection of poems by B. Stephen Spender. 51. Who is the author of Bye Bye Blackbird? D. Anita Desai, page 28. 52. Bianca, 1878, was written by A. Toru Dutt. 53. Madhavi Kuti is the maiden name of C. Kamala Das. 54. Salman Rushdie won the Booker of the Bookers Award in 1993 for C. Midnight Children. 55. Tamburlaine is basically an expression of the spirit of ... in full measure. A. Ranasa. 56. Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress is a dream, vision, allegory. 57. Which of the following arrangements of Bunyan's work is in correct chronological sequence? A. Grace Abounding, The Pilgrim's Progress, Part 1, The Life and Death of Mr. Badman, The Holy War, The Pilgrim's Progress, Part 2. 58. Christian is a character in D. The Pilgrim's Progress. 59. The great merit of the Pilgrim's Progress is, quote, that the most cultivated man cannot find anything to praise more highly, and the child knows nothing more amusing, unquote. Identify the critic who expressed above opinion. B. Dr. Samuel Johnson. 60. Who said, quote, he met Mr. Dryden, the poet, and he remained Mr. Dryden, the poet, till the day of his death, unquote. B. John Bunyan. 61. Which of the following work is provoked by Peacock? A. The Defense of Poetry. 62. Jonathan Swift was supporting modern authors in the Battle of the Books. Who was engaged in the controversy on behalf of the ancients? D. Sir William Temple. 63. For which book Swift said the following words? Good God, what a genius I had when I wrote that book, unquote exclamation. A. A Tale of a Tub. 64. Swift's A Tale of a Tub is a C. Religious allegory. 29. Page 29. 65. A Tale of a Tub is suggested by the work of B. Bunyan. 66. Shelley's The Cenci, Cenci 1819, is a play. 67. Who was presented by Shelley through a character in Julian and Meddalo 1818? B. Byron. 68. Which of the following poem expresses Shelley's revolutionary political views? C. The Mask of Anarchy 1832. 69. Which of the following is a classical elegy on the death of Keats written in Spenserian stanza? B. Adonais 1821. 70. Who wrote The Necessity of Atheism? D. Shelley. 71. Which of the following is the well-known work of Swinburne? D. Erechtheus 1876. Erechtheus. 72. Who wrote The Leaves of Grass 1855? A. Swinburne. 73. Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass 1855 is inspired by his experience. C. Teaching. 74. Charles Dickens' Sketches by Boz, B.O.Z. 1836 deals with London life in the manner of B. Tennyson. 75. Which of the following poem of Shelley is based on Aeschylus, Aeschylus? C. Prometheus Unbound, 1820. Page 30, Model Set 6. Read the following passage carefully and answer the following question numbers 1 to 5. Para. The two great pessimistic poets of the Edwardian era are Thomas Hardy and A.E. Hoseman. Their poetry is the final expression of the disillusionment resulting from the advance of science and the disintegration of faith and traditional values. Para. The pessimism, which is a characteristic feature of Hardy's fiction, also marks his poetry. His poems reveal his acute consciousness of the miseries and sufferings of human life. As in his novels, so in his poetry, his theme is the human predicament and the suffering which is caused the imperfections of the power that rules on high. Destiny strews joy and pain with a nerveless and purposeless hand, and this aimlessness makes human life, quote, a strange orchestra of victim, shriek, and pain, unquote, stop. However, his pessimism is not an unrelieved one, for he believes that human lot can be made endurable through tact, mutual sympathy, and wise social reform. Para. The poetry of A. E. Housman, Housman, 1859-1936, bears a close affinity to that of Hardy. His poetic output was small, but it would be difficult to find even a single weak line in his collected poems. Quote, everything was winnowed with scrupulous care, and he admitted nothing superfluous or merely decorative in form or style, unquote. He produced a Shropshire Lad, 1896, Last Poems, 1922, and More Poems, 1936. The predominant mood in his poetry is one of, quote, cultured, ironical disillusionment with life, unquote, though underlying this tragic view there is a warm appreciation of the beauties of nature, particularly in A Shropshire Lad, which depicts the country life of the Welsh border. Quote, tragic in tone, often, unquote, to the point of morbidity, the poems of Housman have the polished ease and restraint which might be expected of so fine a classical scholar. They are concise, sometimes epigrammatic in expression, yet always perfectly easy to understand, and the emotion is handled with a sureness of touch which never mars an effect by overemphasis, unquote, says Albert Housman. Housman dealt in his poetry with primitive themes, quote, in musical language with a sweetness broken by irony and the tang of cruel disillusion. Music came to him under the stress of emotion, but it was controlled by his scholarly sense of meter, unquote, para. Housman is generally regarded as a pessimist, and rightly so. Quote, yet, strangely enough, even the cruelest pessimism which thrust itself into his most charming ballads is depressing, semicolon. For we are in the presence of a strong, if obstinate character who finds exaltation in his pessimism and his power of turning beauty into pain, pain into contempt, and both into accomplished verse, unquote, says R. A. Scott James, para. It is Housman's love of nature that relieves much of the gloom and tedium of his pessimism. His nature poetry is refreshing. His affectionate portrayal of the lovely details of nature acts as an antiseptic to the gloom of his philosophy. 1. After which novel Hardy left fiction writing. D. Jude the Obscure. 2. Hardy's masterpiece is B. The Mayor of Casterbridge, 1886. 3. Hardy's The Well-Beloved issue in 1892. It was reissued in A. 1897. 4. Which of the following novel has its subtitle, quote, A Poor Woman, unquote? B. Tess of the D. Obervales, 1891. 5. Hardy's Far From Madding Crowd, 1874, derived its title from D. Elegy written in a country churchyard. 6. Which of the following is the first work of Thomas Hardy? B. Desperate Remedies, page 31. 7. Hardy's Under the Greenwood Tree, 1872, derived its title from D. Shakespeare. 8. Which of the following is not written by C. G. Rossetti? C. Goblin Marker and Other Poems, 1864. 9. William Morris's best work is B. The Roots of the Mountains, 1840. 10. Who is known as the Poet of Liberty? D. Swinburne. 11. Which of the following is not written by Don Levy? B. The Captive and the Free, 1959. 12. Wilson's The Old Man at the Zoo, 1961 was a nightmare of D. Political future. 13. The full name of Wilson is A. Angus Frank Johnstone Wilson. 14. Which of the following deals with the present nightmare of a newborn? B. Let Call, 1964. 15. Wilson's Such Darling Dodes, 1950 is a C. Short story collection. 16. Evelyn Waugh's Bride Shed Revisited, 1945 is the result of his D. Army experiences. 70. Which of the following is not included in Evelyn Waugh's trilogy Sword of Honor? C. Time of Hope, 1949. 18. Which of the following novel of Lionel Pole's Hartley is a trilogy? A. Eustace and Hilda, 1944-47. 19. Which of the following is not written by Hartley? The Kindly Ones, 1962. 20. In which work Bates shows the evocation of country, place, and people? C. The Poacher, 1935. 21. Identify the correct group consisting of the transitional poets. B. Alfred Austin, W. E. Henley, William Watson, Francis Thompson, Thomas Hardy. There must be a spelling mistake. Thomas Hardy. 22. Who among the following poets is an Indian by birth and who called upon Englishmen, quote, to take up white man's burden, unquote, and, quote, reap his own reward, unquote? C. Rudyard Kipling. 23. Robert Bridges was appointed Poet Laureate in C. 1913. Page 32. 24. Which of the following arrangements of Bridges' poems is in correct chronological sequence? A. Shorter poems, Prometheus, The Firegiver, Eros and Psyche, Demeter, The Testament of Beauty. 25. Who wrote The Testament of Beauty, 1929? C. Robert Bridges. 26. Quote, is Pope or poet, unquote, question mark. Quote, if Pope be not a poet, comma, where is poetry to be found, unquote, question mark. B. Dr. Samuel Johnson. 27. Which of the following works does not belong to Pope? D. Hudibras. 28. A. Pastorals, an essay, beg your pardon, 28. 28. Which of the following arrangements of Alexander Pope's work is correct in chronological sequence? A. Pastorals, an essay on criticism, the Rep of the Lock, the Dunciad, the essay on man. 29. Who wrote, quote, keep right on the end of the road, unquote? C. Sir Harry Lauder, Lauder. 30. Who said, Cologne, quote, two men look out through the same bars, Cologne. One sees the mud, comma, and the one the stars, unquote? D. Frederick Langbridge. 31. In which book does the following line appear, quote, water falling woof was there, unquote? C. Hamlet. 32. King Charles II was restored to the throne of England in B. 1660. 33. The Royal Society was established in C. 1662. 34. James II ascended the throne in C. 1685. 35. Insert the correct name in the blank space in the following line. Quote, it is largely due to ... that writers developed formalism of style, comma, that precise, comma, almost mathematic elegance, comma, miscalled classicism, comma, which ruled the English literature for the next century, unquote, stop. D. Dryden. 36. Which newspaper Coleridge produced in 1796? C. The Watchman. 37. Which of the following work of Coleridge published posthumously? B. Table Talk. 38. In which chapter of Biographia Literaria Coleridge criticized the theory of language of Wordsworth? C. 14. 39. In which chapter of Biographia Literaria Coleridge makes a distinction between fancy and imagination? D. 13. 40. Which of the following is written on the subject of philosophy? A. Aids of Reflection, 1825. Page 33. 41. In 1802, Coleridge wrote a great ode, C. Dejection. 42. The age of Pope is known as the era of C. Tolerance, comma, common sense, comma, moderation, and balance. 43. Quote, the proper study of mankind is man, unquote. This famous line is extracted from A. Alexander Pope's Essay on Man. 44. Pope's The Rep of the Lock is a B. mock heroic poem. 45. An application of high style to a trivial subject results in A mock epic. 46. Barrett Browning's best work is A. Sonnets from the Portuguese, 1847. 47. Which work shows Barrett's love for Robert Browning? C. Sonnets from the Portuguese, 1847. 48. The Barretts of Wimpole Street is a play about the family of A. Barrett Browning. 49. Arnold's first published poem is C. The Strayed Reveller. 50. Coleridge produced Remorse on the recommendation of B. Byron. 51. Identify the title of the poem Robert Bridges wrote in 1904 for the opening of Somerville College, Oxford. Spelling mistake. A. Demeter. 52. Select the Georgian group of poets from the following. B. Walter de la Mare, W. H. Davis, John Mesfield, James Ellery Flecker, Edmund Blunden. 53. In which poem Pompilia was murdered by her worthless husband? D. Ring and the Book. 54. Who wrote A Grammarian's Funeral? C. Robert Browning. 55. Barrett Browning was the ... of Robert Browning. A. Wife. 56. A stressed syllable followed by an unstressed syllable is A. Trochaic foot, Trochaic, foot, F-O-O-T. 57. One strong or stressed syllable followed by two weak or unstressed syllable is B. Dactylic foot. Page 34, 58. Diameter consists of A. 2 feet. 59. The meter consisting of 6 feet is called A. hexameter. 60. Rising measure means A. those feet which end with a stressed syllable. 61. Who among the following was not a prose writer? B. Coleridge. 62. Who among the following was not a character? A. Wordsworth. 63. Which one among the following was not a cavalier poet? D. Robert Bridges. 64. Which age in English literature is known as the Augustan age? D. That of Pope. 65. Who wrote to Pope in 1706, quote, "The best of the modern poets in all languages are those that have nearest copied the ancients," unquote, stop. C. Walsh. 66. Which book is not written by Snow? B. Travels with My Aunt, 1969. 67. The most important work of K.R. Srinivas Iyengar is C. Indian Writing in English. 68. The writer of, quote, "The Swan and the Eagle," unquote, is B. C.D. Narasimhaya. 69. Name the writer of the book, quote, "Introducing Applied Linguistics," unquote, Penguin. D. S. Pitcorder. 70. Danglars is a character in B. Monte Cristo. 71. The age of Queen Anne in England was an era of A. Political stability. 72. When was Swift born? D. 1667. 73. Which is Swift's most powerful general satire? A. Gulliver's Travels. 74. Who characterized D.G. Rossetti's poetry as belonging to, quote, "the fleshly school of poetry," unquote, question mark? C. Robert Buchanan. 75. In which of the following age there has been a tremendous increase in science fiction? B. Contemporary period. Page 35. Model set 7. 1. Identify the dramatist who wrote all tragedies. C. Christopher Marlowe. 2. Sir Thomas Lucy has been caricatured as Justice Shallow in Shakespeare's A. The Merry Wives of Windsor. 3. Whose burial took place inside Stratford Church? C. William Shakespeare. 4. Hotspur is a character in Shakespeare's A. Love's Labour's Lost. 5. Quote, "Wear strange suits, comma, disable all the benefits of your country, semicolon, be out of love with your nativity, semicolon, or I will scarce think you have swum in a gondola," unquote, stop. ... Makes fun of Jacques is as you like it in the above lines. B. Rosalind. Read the following passage carefully and answer the following questions, number 6 to 10. Para. Tribute to his greatness have been paid from time to time by eminent poets and critics of the day. Thus, J.W. Beach calls him the finest of the British poets of the modern age, and Fraser, in his well-known book, The Modern Writer and His World, claims for Yeats the position of a major English poet and ranks him with Donne, with Milton, and with Wordsworth, and considers him very much superior to Browning, to Tennyson, and to Arnold. Further, he claims that the poetry of Yeats would enjoy a greater permanence and a more enduring popularity than the poetry either of T.S. Eliot or of Ezra Pound, because it is more coherent and more traditional than that of his two great contemporaries. He is largely free from the fricks and weems, the eccentricities and incoherent ramblings which characterize much contemporary poetry. For one thing, Yeats is great by virtue of the bulk and variety of his poetry, and critics agreed that very few of his poems can be regarded as definitely inferior. His work is uniformly good, even though he writes on such varied subjects as ancient legend, mythology, folklore, politics, history, love, and he constantly makes new myths of his own. His creative range is immense. He writes with perfect ease and mastery on the themes taken from every possible sphere of life, and a high standard of performance is maintained throughout. Para. Sustained and continuous development of art and genius is the keynote of Yeats' poetry. The period of poetic activity in his case extended over 50 years, and during this period he was constantly becoming, maturing, and growing, different from what he was in the beginning. There is no sudden change or break in continuity, but a slow evolution, and the charms of the future are to be found in what has gone before. His early poetry is romantic, while the latter one is realistic, both in theme and treatment. He began writing verse in the thinned-out romantic pre-Raphaelite tradition. His early poems are frankly escapist and are heavily overhung with pre-Raphaelite tapestry. The languorous, dreamy atmosphere of his early fairy world is accentuated by haunting incantatory rhythms. It is a world of Celtic twilight, of vague, uncertain lights, and the imagery used is equally vague and subdued in color. The use of Irish mythology and folklore took all Europe by storm, and it had a rare fascination for those who were fed up with the hackneyed classical myths and legends. They became aware, says R. A. Scott James, of a new lyrical voice that had a fey quality, a wild tenderness, something which was wanting to their souls. Para. It is for this reason that Yeats has been called by Graham Hough, Hough, and others, quote, the last of the great romantics, unquote, comma, but he became dissatisfied with this romanticism and discarded it more and more as he aged. Page 36. The turn of the century saw Yeats transformed into a great 20th century poet from a 19th century romantic. His later poetry is characterized by stark naked realism, even brutality and coarseness, and with a masculine vigor and force. In keeping with modern realistic trends, there is greater and greater approximation to speech rhythms and colloquial diction. Quote, natural words in a natural order, unquote, are the ambition of the poet. All verbiage and decoration, all superfluity is rigidly excluded, and his style acquires an almost Dantesque, to use the words of Edmund Wilson, terseness and epigrammatic force and sublimity. However, this barrenness of style and diction, this bony structure, is combined with a rare richness and complexity of content. Profundity of thought accompanies simplicity of form. The poetry of the rich and complex, the tower and the winding stairs, volumes is a majestic utterance which stimulates and lifts up the readers by its very urgency, intensity, and immediacy. Question 6. In which year W.B. Yeats got Nobel Prize? A. 1923. 7. Which of the following is the first work of W.B. Yeats? B. The Wanderings of Oisin. 8. Which book of W.B. Yeats contains the poems of realism? B. Responsibilities, 1914. 9. Which book has philosophical theme? C. The Winding Stair and Other Poems, 1933. 10. Which play of Yeats highlights injustice to the Irishman? C. The Countess Kathleen, 1892. 11. Who described Dryden as one, quote, who had done his best to improve the language, comma, and especially the poetry of his country, unquote, question mark. D. Dryden himself. 12. The Popish plot is about D. Both B and C. B. The people's plot to prevent the Catholic James from succeeding Charles II. C. The people's plot to make the Duke of Monmouth a king. 13. Which of the following deals with the Popish plot? C. Absalom and Achitophel. 14. Match the following works with their writers. A. List 1. A. The Parliament of Fowls. B. Utopia. C. The Advancement of Learning. D. Dido, the Queen of Carthage. E. Alexander and Campees. F. Vision of Piers the Ploughman. List 2. 1. William Langland. 2. Sir Francis Bacon. 3. Sir Thomas More. 4. John Lyly. 5. Christopher Marlowe. 6. Geoffrey Chaucer. Answer A. Codes. A. 6. A. The Parliament of Fowls. 6. Geoffrey Chaucer. B. Utopia. 3. Sir Thomas More. C. The Advancement of Learning. 2. Sir Francis Bacon. D. Dido, the Queen of Carthage. 5. Christopher Marlowe. E. Alexander and Campees. 4. John Lyly. F. Vision of Piers the Ploughman. 6. Geoffrey Chaucer. 15. Please check this question with your reader. There seems to be some printing mistake. 6 has come twice. 15. Which of the following begins with the following line, quote, if music be the food of love, comma, play on, quote, unquote. A. The 12th Night. Page 37. 16. Quote, a sleepless hour or more has its strange value only in the middle, unquote. Name the writer of the lines given above. D. Nissim Ezekiel. 17. After Queen Victoria's death, Edward II acceded to the throne of England in C. 1901. 18. Modern age is called the age of A. Anxiety and interrogation. 19. Robert Browning's first work is B. Pauline. 20. Which poem shows the hero's enduring thirst for knowledge? C. Paracelsus, 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 1835. 21. Jonathan Swift's The Battle of the Books deals with dispute between ancient and B. modern authors. 22. Identify the correct group of poets who anticipated the importance of colder and more correct phrasing and versification. A. Walter Denham Cowley. 23. Who applied first the epithet, quote, Augustan, unquote? C. Dr. Samuel Johnson. 24. Dryden expressed his change of religion in his 2 doctrinal poems. C. Religio Laici and the Hind and the Panther. 25. Who is talking about whom in the statement, quote, he found English brick and left it marble, unquote? D. Dr. Johnson about Dryden. 26. Byron's all plays are blank verse tragedies. Which of the following is not his play? B. Don Juan. 27. Which of the work made Byron famous overnight? D. Childe Harold, 1812. 28. Which of the following is the first work of P.B. Shelley? B. Queen Mab. 29. Shelley's Alastor or the Spirit of Solitude, 1816, is a D. Spiritual autobiography. 30. Dugald Stewart complimented Pope's ... as, quote, the noblest specimen of philosophical poetry which our language affords, unquote, stop. Mention the correct poem from the following for the blank space. C. The Essay on Man, page 38. 31. Quote, a little learning is a dangerous thing, unquote. This oft-quoted line is extracted from D. Pope's The Essay on Criticism. 32. The transitional poets of the 18th century are the C. pioneers of the splendid outburst of the romantic poetry of the 19th century. 33. The movement, quote, return to nature, unquote, is concerned with B. the pre-Romantic period. 34. Quote, God made the country and man made the town, unquote. D. William Cowper. This oft-quoted line is written by D. William Cowper. 35. Which of the following deals with Jonathan Swift's affection for Esther Vanhomrigh, Vanhomrigh? C. Cadmus and Vanessa. 36. Who can be said to be the greatest writer of the comedy of humours? B. Ben Jonson. 37. Which one among the following is not a play by Ben Jonson? D. The Way of the World. 38. Who is the writer of the book, quote, Prince, unquote? C. Machiavelli. Machiavelli. 39. Who is the writer of the essay, quote, Simulation and Dissimulation, unquote? D. Bacon. 40. Name the figure of speech for which Lyly is chiefly remembered. B. Euphuism, Euphuism. 41. Utopia was written by A. Walter Raleigh. 42. Betts, the Jacaranda Tree, 1949, is about India and D. Burma. 43. Which of the following is not a short story collection of Betts, Bates? B. When the Green Woods Love, 1960. 44. Betts fares to the wind for France, 1944, in his best-known collection which contains A. Adventure stories. 45. Who among the following served army in India? D. John Master. 46. Which novel is not about European invaders, the rulers and servants of India? A. Fandango Rock, 1959. Page 39, 47. Question 47. John Masters' The Field Marshal's Memoirs, 1975, is about the sympathetic understanding of the sea soldiers. 48. Which novel is inspired by Joyce Carey's Nigerian political service? D. Mr. Johnson, 1959. 49. Identify the poet who became the Poet Laureate in 1930 after the death of Robert Bridges. A. John Masefield. 50. The Georgian poetry, quote, a work of 12 different writers, unquote, appeared in C. 1911 to 12. 51. Who among the following is the chief protagonist of Imagism in England, a poetic movement which was a reaction against the loose and facile texture of Georgian poetry and which advocated the importance of, quote, hard, dry image in poetry, unquote, question mark? A. T. E. Hume. 52. Name the Indian poet, mystic and philosopher who influenced W. B. Yeats. B. Purohit Swami. 53. Identify Yeats's poems which show the influence of Indian thought, especially of the Bhagavad Gita. A. The Black Tower and Under Ben Babben. Bubben. 54. W. B. Yeats was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in C. 1923. 55. Which of the following arrangements of Yeats's poems is in the correct chronological sequence? A. The Wanderings of Ossian, poems, The Wind Among Reeds, The Green Helmet and Other Poems, Responsibilities, The Wild Swan at Cool, The Wandering Stairs and Other Poems, Last Poems. 56. Arnold for subject is fond of A. Classical themes. 57. Which of the following is written on Greek theme? C. Empedocles on Etna, 1852. 58. Literature and Dogma, 1873 deals with A. Poetry and religion. 59. Which Indian book Arnold read the most? C. Bhagavad Gita. 60. Arnold's prose work appears in his C. Critical Works, page 40. 61. Browning's Strafford, 1837, is a B. play. 62. Browning's best work is D. Men and Women, 1855. 63. Browning wrote Sordello, 1840, to decide the relationship between C. Art and life. 64. Browning's Bells and Pomegranates, 1846, published in D. 2 volumes. 65. Which monologue Browning addressed to his wife? A. One Word More. 66. Coleridge's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner appears in A. Lyrical Ballads. 67. Coleridge's Christabel, published in B. 1816. 68. Christabel meter is a form of D. octosyllabic couplet. 69. Coleridge's Kubla Khan, published in the same year of the publication of A. Christabel, 1816. 70. Which of the following poem of Coleridge is incomplete? C. Kubla Khan. 71. Which of the following is a dream allegory? B. Kubla Khan. 72. Coleridge's Remorse, 1803, is a C. play. 73. In English literature, the term, quote, Augustan, unquote, denotes a refined and classical style of 17th century and 18th century literature. 74. The transitional period in 18th century stretches from 1752 D. 1798. 75. Was the first newspaper which came into being in 1702. A. The Flying Post. Stop. The book ends here. A note from the recordist. This book is prepared in a hurry and is full of printing mistakes. I would suggest listeners of this book to please check with original text wherever applicable if any doubt occurs in their mind regarding the accuracy of the terms. Thank you.